Car Fittable Talks. We're just going to
Welcome.
wait for some of you guys to come in. And we just wanted to just remind people that you can go on YouTube and you can also visit us on Instagram. Please join us if you haven't. And we also want to say thank you to everybody for who has been on. There's my cousin Elena, and I see J Vibe. How you doing, J Vibe?
I just want to thank everybody for supporting us in Car Fittable Talks. And then we do have a YouTube channel, Vicki Mac Latte Yacht. If you get a chance, go there and subscribe. Just appreciate your support.
And you see Shami in back of us. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but she's not feeling great. We don't know what's going on, but she's just masked up. I mean, really masked up today. Oh, we've got the dollhouse. Now, you know, you guys, I have on a dollhouse jacket, actually, even today. Dollhouse is where I get a lot of my clothes, and I support them, and you guys should too. And I've got my sister Leslie Mack at Mac Artistry, her earrings on, so I'm all done up. That's, if you've ever thought about my style or wondered why I look how I do, these are the people that are the culprits in it. But go by Dollhouse. She has 2 locations, one in Baltimore and one in LA, and I go to the one in LA, and I love it. Hey, Dre Day.
Yes.
And Richard Nichols. Okay, that's cool. We've got Williams. How you guys doing? Hey, family. So we're Film 615. We're so excited. But yeah, if you want to see, people have been asking about some of our past shows that we've done, and we're now trying to build up that YouTube. So we really would appreciate you getting out there and looking at it. One of our most popular ones to date is the one with Jonathan McReynolds. So look at that one for sure. But all of them are really great.
Channel. We'll put it up on the screen. We'll pin it up there so you guys can see where to go and check it out. And then also thank you for supporting us, and follow Vicki on Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, guess what? We've got our wonderful person is coming on right now. Have we got it? Okay, I'm just waiting. I'm so excited about her coming on. I don't know what to do with myself.
Hello.
Hello, Judge.
How are you?
We're fine. You got to turn it around the other way.
I tried to get you. Hold on. I tried to get you on my gate.
We see your desk pretty good.
So you got to turn it around, Judge.
Wait a minute. I'm trying. Hold on.
All right. You remind me of ourselves. When you see my daughter.
No, I tried to get. I got my camera turned around wrong, right?
Yes. All you have to do is turn it around so we can see you. See, there we
That's
go.
it. Oh, big girl, I did it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, you look so gorgeous.
I tried to do it from my computer as opposed to my cell phone, and Sean gave me your address, but when I typed it in, it said this page isn't available.
What? Well, you're here now, and you're looking fabulous.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I don't know how to do. I can do the computer better than I can do this cell phone. So.
Okay.
Well, you've got it. I mean, I wrote something about you, so I want you to hear what I wrote. I said,
okay.
Judge Mablean Ephraim, lovingly called
Ephraim.
Ephraim. Did I say that right? Ephraim.
It's Ephraim.
And we in the African American community, as well as many in the community at large, just think of you as our judge.
Why, thank you.
And the reason is because we love you and we trust you. We've seen you for so long, and we trust what you're about. And we think that your mother wit and your no-nonsense approach to life's ups and downs are what we need, especially in today's environment. So without any further ado, folks, I would like to introduce Judge Mablean Ephraim. Woo! Emmy nominated.
Woo!
Oh,
I got that from my bishop. I watch my bishop. When everybody introduces him, he claps too. Whenever the people clap, he claps too.
Now, who's your bishop?
Charles Blake.
Oh, that's what I thought.
Blake, okay.
That's what I thought, but I wanted to hear you say it.
Yeah.
That's right. Charles A. Blake,
That's
who has
right.
just retired.
Yes,
And I'm so glad for him. Now he's just retired as prelate. He's still the residing bishop.
Oh, he's still my pastor. Right.
Yes.
He retired as the presiding bishop of Kojic, but he's still the pastor of West Angeles Church of God in Christ.
All right.
Absolutely. I mean,
That's his baby. He's not going to let that go.
Oh, I was gonna say we bought a
No.
car at Ford where they were giving Bishop cars just because they were so kind to Bishop Blake. We got a car at this Ford dealership because they said Bishop.
Oh yeah, Galpin Ford.
Galpin Ford. That's right. We
Yeah,
them
right.
Because
Yeah,
he's also
right.
a mentor to our Bishop Ulmer, Kenneth C. Ulmer. So
Yes, I love Kenneth too.
yeah, he's
I like his smooth cha-cha.
Oh yeah, he's cool with it. But I wanted to say first of all, Judge, that I remember when you first came on television how proud I was. I told my husband, a fully melanated, gorgeous, intelligent, dignified Black woman.
Yeah, man.
You know, it's interesting that you say that because I didn't have any of those. I had just begun to feel that about myself because I dealt with issues of low self-esteem and ugliness and, lack of beauty, not fitting the white folks' image of beauty for so many years. And I had just gone through a long counseling process after divorce, this and that. And it was at a time, if they had caught me 3 years earlier, maybe a year earlier, I never would have taken that because I didn't feel that way about myself. So I never would have taken a national TV show that my face is out there every single day.
Oh my gosh. Thank God you did. Because for fully melanated sisters like myself,
yes,
I needed you.
I know. And, I realized a lot of people needed me. And that was the wonderful thing about it as I traveled across the country. And I still wasn't used to the stardom. And you'd be in the airport and people are just staring, and you go to a city and you're walking down the street and people are staring and they're pointing and they're looking. And I was like, why those people keep pointing at me? Why they keep staring at me? my publicist said, girl, you on TV. I said, oh, okay.
I mean, you made a road and a lane all of your own. I mean, there's never going to be anybody like you, I don't believe. I mean, there's a lot of different folks, but there's only one Judge Mablean. And I had to really say
it's a
that.
Personality.
Yes, absolutely. And for the honesty and all that. But I'm wondering, where did this all come from? Did you always think you were going to be in working in the legal realms and then on TV and then in the movies? Really? No,
I always dreamed of being a lawyer, and it was my dream to be in the legal field since the 8th grade. So I knew I was going to do that. And I was going to replace Thurgood Marshall on the Supreme Court. That was my dream. So that was the dream that I had as a young girl during the civil rights movement. I was just going to junior high school at 64. I was just hit high school. 67 is the height of it. I graduated high school. Martin Luther King is killed in 68. I'm in my freshman year at college. And it was like, okay, I'm going into law because that's where the changes are made. And that's what we have to deal with to get rid of this racism, segregation, this injustice and all of that. I'm going into law. So I knew that, and that was in my blood. And I did not go straight to law school, though. After undergraduate, I had a little detour, got married, had children, but I never lost the sight of that law office. So I went to a law office as a legal secretary from undergraduate school. So that I could be around and surrounded by the law, so I could learn the language, so I could understand the territory, because I was from a family there were no professionals and nobody in law or any of that. But I was, fortunately, she didn't even know it herself, but Yvonne Brathwaite Burke, who was one of the first Black lawyers here in Los Angeles County. I really admired her, and I followed her career from afar, and Shirley Chisholm and people like that. And it's like, okay, I'm going to do this thing.
Wow.
And that's what I did. So I said, let me go work in the law office. Oh, sorry. Give me a minute. I forgot. Guys coming by to do some painting. I got to unlock the door real quick. I forgot. I forgot. Hold on. Hold that thought.
The judge is coming back, but she's got to let somebody in her house do the painting. I love it. Don't you just love it? Oh my gosh. Yes, but she. Guess what? We got Judge Mablean. She just left for a second. Let somebody in and do some painting. That is hilarious. And Byron Cage. Hi, Byron Cage. Hi, Sean Pennington, who we've got to say thank you to, who is.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm back.
Okay. You looking good. I like
You know how we multitask, girl.
Oh, I know. Is that a little
I'm trying.
piece you got on there? That looks cute, that little top.
Oh, it's it's our typical what you have on, my St. John jacket. That's it.
Absolutely.
Put that on, you can do anything.
That's right. That's right. But now, were you born in Mississippi, was it?
Born in Hazelhurst, Mississippi.
That's right. And then you came to LA though when you were 6 years old.
5.
Oh, okay. So now
5
you're
years
from
old.
LA too. Tell me where you were hanging out in LA.
Girl, South Central, East Side.
Okay, all right.
32nd Street off 32nd Street off Central Avenue is my hangout.
Central
Oh
Avenue.
yeah.
Wow.
Not too far from downtown. Yeah, that's my hangout.
Wow.
But we have the African American firefighters. The firefighter museum is there
That's
at
right.
16th and Central Avenue. That used to be a fire station
girl.
that we couldn't go to.
Wow.
So, but that was my hangout. My mother's. We just sold the house. My daughter. 2012 we got rid of the house.
Wow. After all those years in LA.
All those years.
So you're an LA girl too, and we're proud of you for that. Going to West Angeles, that's everything. But then
you're native Angelina?
No, I'm from Northern California. I can't fake it.
Oh, okay.
I'm from a place called San Mateo near Oakland.
Oh,
I came out
San Mateo.
Yeah.
They didn't have us up there.
Let me tell you, my mother was mayor of San Mateo for 8 years.
Excuse me, honey.
Yes, ma'am.
You from High Cotton.
Well, we're from people that work hard and try hard, because my mother was married and had me at 16. Went back to school, and then I remember her learning diction and how to speak in our house with the record player going, and she got a job on KGO radio, and then
she was the mayor of San Mateo.
Yes.
Now my classmate in college was from the East Palo Alto.
Okay.
So and then her family, after a few years, shortly after we graduated, while we were still in college, her family moved to San Mateo.
What was her name?
Her name was Peebles, Lucretia Peebles. It's Peebles now. That's the married name. Her name was Drain, Drane.
Okay, I mean, ask my mother about that, because the black folks, we all knew each other.
Yeah, her mother was a school teacher.
Oh, well, I'm sure we must have known him. But now, so
but that's the richest one of the richest counties in the California, right?
Yeah.
High Cotton.
First African American and first woman. Was it first woman or first African? I can't remember.
Probably both. Probably both.
I think
yeah,
so.
That's exciting. You came from great seed. Now that explains your vigor.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, because you were the first African American woman with a gospel. What do you call it?
Label. Yeah, yes. Like that.
A label, right?
A real successful one.
Yeah, with a record label. Yeah. So I remember you. I remember you when I just heard about you and was proud to know of you and never got a chance to meet you. And I finally met you at the first, the wives' dinner that Lisa gives, Lisa Collins.
First
yes, I finally met you at one of those luncheons.
I was that's right. That's right. And I remember you talking about what you were doing, your work, and how you were putting that with your Christian faith, and how sometimes they were trying to mess up stuff with your Bible study and all of that.
Right. That's right.
Claude, what you doing?
So they couldn't hear us.
Where y'all riding to? Where you going?
Well, it's car fittable talk, so we do our interviews from the car. We just in our car talking. Turns out also our
That is such a great idea. You say car fittable. I told Sean I call it comfortable. Like you're comfortable.
That's
You're
how my
comfortable.
dad would say it. That's how my dad would say it.
Yeah, you're comfortable.
Yeah, my dad's from Utah, Alabama.
Oh, really?
Yep.
It's spelled EUTAH.
Can everybody
Never
hear
heard
me?
of it. Never heard of it.
Yeah, well, it's a small place.
Near Green County.
Yeah.
People are just saying, how do you? But you were also a corrections officer. So
Yes, I was a correctional officer. Let me tell you how that happened. When I didn't go straight to law school from undergraduate because I got married. So I had to find a job. Of course, I had to do something. But again, I had a plan. I wanted to be in law. So if you get connected to people in law, and law is a different language. And so you have to deal with people in law. So I got a job in law. I got a job as a correctional officer straight out of college. I got a job as a law clerk when I left there. It's like, not a law clerk because I wasn't in law school yet, but I got a job in a law office as a legal secretary.
Okay.
But I had to get a job. So I'm interviewing for jobs straight out of college. I interviewed for Pacific Bell, Pac Bell. They gave me a test where I had to take a room, and they gave me all this furniture and stuff. So some kind of exam, and I had to learn how to best place the space furniture, best use of space or whatever. I was like, I don't know anything. I feel that thing like flying colors. What are they talking about? And to this day, I still can't do that kind of stuff. You know, I can't look at a room and say, oh, that chair fits better there, and this is, I don't do that.
I couldn't do that either.
No, so I didn't pass that one, so I didn't get that job. So then I went and took another test, and I was pregnant and didn't know it. So when I came out of that test, I failed the physical because I was pregnant and didn't know it. And that was a time when they didn't hire women when they were pregnant. The law has changed, but this was in the 60s.
Yes.
So I couldn't take that job. So it was like, okay, now I got to find a job. All right. I went out to Federal Correctional Institution. I took that exam. Now, I'm going to tell on myself. I just failed the last physical because I was pregnant, right? And I knew they were going to give me a physical for the feds at that correctional institution. So I had my mother-in-law give me some of her urine. I got creative. That brain got to working. I was like, I got to make this thing happen. And that was at a time when they give you the cup and you go by yourself. Now they don't do that anymore. Somebody watches you. But I knew that nobody would be watching, and I did it. And I passed the exam, and I passed the physical. But shortly after that, the law changed where they could not deny you employment just because you were pregnant.
Right.
But at that time, they could legally deny you employment because you were pregnant. I went.
Was legal that you could do that.
Oh yeah, it was legal. It was not against the law. It was not considered discrimination against women because you were pregnant. No.
Wow.
You didn't have a cause. The discrimination based upon sex, based upon gender, came about long after that. It came about like in the 80s.
In the 80s.
So yeah. So yes, this is late 60s. No, this is early 70s because I graduated college 71. So this is early 70s. That was still the law. But I got the job, and I had to go to Reno, Oklahoma, of all places, for training. Reno, Oklahoma for training.
Oh, okay, for training.
For training. No, I worked at the Federal Correctional Institution in Terminal Island, right outside of San Pedro.
San Pedro.
Okay.
I did, because there's only 2 or 3 women's federal prisons, and I was at the one in Terminal Island. That's where I worked. But I had to go to Reno, Oklahoma for training. Can you imagine?
Nope.
Now that was an experience.
I'm sure that was.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, that was an experience. I had not been. See, I was born in Mississippi, but I left there at 5, so I didn't experience firsthand the racism. But when I got to Reno, Oklahoma, I experienced it. And I knew not to be out in those streets after dark to get myself back to that hotel. Oh, yes.
Oh
Hmm.
gosh. I mean, the stuff we have to go through. And I was listening to a YouTube where you were talking with some women about some of the things you've had to go through as a Black woman, and where people were calling you girl and you're a judge. And I just,
Oh, the judges would call me girl. The judges would call you girl. When I became a lawyer in 1978, there were some courtrooms I would walk into, and the bailiff would stop me from going through the swinging
Yes.
doors. The swinging gates is where the lawyers go to go up to the bench where lawyers sit. I'd get stopped, and automatically, you can't come through here. Didn't say, are you a lawyer? Who
Didn't
are
right.
you? May I have your bar card? You have your ID? You can't come through here. That was it from the bailiffs. And I was like, yes, I can come through here. I'm a lawyer. But then I've had judges, when they're talking to me, they'd say, now, little girl. I said, little girl. I said, I'm not your child. When we're arguing a case, and they would literally refer to me as little girl. I said, excuse
That's
me,
all
Your
you
Honor,
needed.
but I'm not a little girl. My name is Mablean. It's attorney Mablean, that other last name to you that I will not use on this show. And I would have to just check them on that. Yeah. I went down to Joshua Tree, which is near Palm Springs. I went to
Right.
do a case in Joshua Tree Court. I was representing the wife of a military person, because that's a big military town. And I was representing the wife of a military person who was trying to get her support. They were going through a divorce. That judge told me, little girl, I don't know where you come from, but down here, and pointed his finger at me from the bench, down here, we don't practice like that. And I said, Your Honor, my name is Mablean, attorney Mablean, last name. I said, I'm not your little girl. I said, and the last I checked, this was still the state of California,
Mm.
and the rules of evidence apply throughout the state of California. Not Joshua Tree does not have its own set of rules.
you had
We
to tell them.
practice law by the code of evidence that was submitted by the state of California. It's
Right.
operative throughout. And so let me make my record so I can get my appeal. And you make your own ruling, but let me make my record so I can take it up on appeal. And he looked at me. I said,
So, I
I'm
mean,
not backing down.
it gives us as Black women, people think that we have attitudes, but it's really what we have to deal with all the time.
Yeah, and you get tired of always being on guard. I said to somebody the other day, God, I was like Oprah in the show, all my life I've had to fight. Do you ever stop fighting? We have to be we're always on guard, because the minute you let your guard down and you think that there is justice and there is equality and they're treating you equal. Here's what I recently, I went to court. I don't go to court often anymore, but
Right.
I have to keep my license active for family members, close friends. I recently had to go to court not last year, year before, 2019, for one of my relatives. And again, I haven't walked the halls of the courtroom in years, but when I was there on a regular basis, the judges, the clerks, the bailiffs knew me. So I don't know them. I've been out of the hallways over 20 years now. So I got the same thing from the bailiff. He tried to stop me from going through the swinging doors.
Again, too.
Yes,
You've been on
because he
TV.
didn't know my face.
You're
He
a
hadn't
movie
seen
star.
me. He hadn't seen me at the courthouse. He didn't know who I was. He did the same
Attorney,
thing.
but as an attorney.
You can't come through here. I just said, yes, I can, and kept walking up to the clerk. And he followed me to the clerk and stood behind me. And the clerk fortunately said, may I help you? I said, yes, I'm attorney Mablean. Here's my bar. I didn't have a bar card, but I knew enough to bring up my bar information on my phone. I had to go into the state bar's website, and I had it ready because, God speaks to you, really.
Yeah.
And I hadn't thought about it, but as I was sitting in that hallway waiting for the courtroom doors to open, and then when I was sitting in the back waiting for the courtroom doors to open, I said, you don't have a bar card and your card with you, and you don't have your bar identification with you. You better have something ready for these people in case they question your legality and who you are. So I would logged on to the State Bar's website and pulled up my record so I could have it ready. So when I got to the desk, I had my State Bar record and I was holding it up to show her, and she waved off the bailiff. But he was behind me ready to pounce.
Oh man, it's just so crazy. I mean, but even you've done so many things. That's what freaks me out about all of this. You became an attorney. You were the first Black woman on a divorce court. Judge.
Yes. Uh-huh. First Black woman judge on television in terms of the court shows.
Yeah, and you still have to go through this, and I want to talk about where we are now. I mean, we all know, of course, that you've done divorce court, you've done justice with. Wait, am I saying that?
I'm doing Justice with Judge Mablean.
Right.
Yes, it's on Entertainment Studios Monday through Friday. Check your local listing. It's cable, it's syndicated, but it's there. It's been there 7 years.
Wow.
Check your local listing.
Is your daughter the one that produces that show?
No, my daughter doesn't produce that. That's Byron Allen's show. That's Byron Allen. I work for Byron. The man that just fired the man that just won that case against Charter Communications. I work for Byron.
That's right.
Who's not afraid to challenge the system.
Right. You know,
yes.
His mother, I was the second intern at CBS television in LA. His mother
was there.
Was the first one, and we became.
She was the first.
They are incredible people, and it's just crazy. We've got Donnie McClurkin. He says he watches every day. Donnie watches every day.
Yes, he does.
But I'm just wondering, when you've got so much in front of you, you've done so much. What does it do to your spirit, your heart, to still have to prove yourself like that as a Black woman? It's just.
Well, you know what? People say, how do you do it? It's life. And that's what I tell young people all the time. You have to accept some things as the reality of life. And I don't run around thinking about it, and I'm not nervous about it, and it doesn't cause me any stress. I don't lose any sleep over it, but I'm fully aware. You have to be fully aware of the circumstances. You got to know your enemies. You got to know your friends. You got to know the rules. You got to know what field you're playing in. And I'm aware of it, and I know how to handle it. So it's frustrating on the inside to know that you have to do this all the time, but I'm just naturally ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, you are.
You can't. I'm just not going to let it get me down. I was just talking about the daughter this morning, and she said, "Mommy, I was a little discouraged because I'm writing this script and it's not quite going together. But I heard that song that you played for me. You can't have my family. You can't have my breakthrough. You can't have it." So it's those kinds of songs. You play them. You listen to them, you rehearse them, you sing them to your spirit. There is a scripture in the Bible says, making songs in your spirit.
Yes.
Just singing in your spirit and making melody. That's what I do. I know the reality of life, but I don't let it get me down. You can't, because if you do, then you fail. You fail. Yes, you cannot. You understand that the world, somebody says, I have a nephew that said to me, "Auntie, you always speak in black and white." I said, because that's what the world is right now. At some point, it won't have to happen, and we won't have to talk in black and white. But the world is black and white right now.
Right now.
And if you don't believe it, Trump in office for the last 4 years has brought the reality clearly back to the forefront that we're in a community and a society that is black. We're divided black and white because that whole Capitol scene and most of the people involved in that came from the lower economic communities where the white folks live, and they were the lower economic strata of white people. And Trump is their savior because he's speaking that they are taking away their rights.
That's right.
And all of this stuff about, black people this and Hispanic people and immigrants is taking away y'all's rights. And so he's put it back out there as black versus white.
That's
And
right.
we're
That's
living
so
in
true.
that culture. And until something happens, and people believe that with Biden, now I'm happy to have him there as opposed to Trump, but I'm not fooled by it.
Yeah.
I'm not fooled by it, and I'm not lulled into a sense of, oh, now everything is all
That's
right,
right.
and I can go to the store and won't anybody follow me around. If I go to Neiman Marcus in Beverly Hills, they won't follow me around anymore just because I'm black. And my
Well, they
son
will.
can walk the streets now just black, and he won't get arrested just because. And my young teenage black child can drive a car and won't get pulled over because he's driving while black. If you get lulled into that sense of security just because Biden is in office, we're going to be fooled. Because
No,
people
you're
don't want
right.
to hear me say it, but I tell them, look, Biden's been there a long time. Biden was
That's
part of
right.
Congress for a long time, okay?
Yeah, yeah,
And during those 30 years that he likes to brag about, that he was in Congress, you know, for three decades,
right.
it wasn't a whole lot of change and a whole lot of
No,
differences made, was it?
no.
It's only now that he's beginning to recognize
That's right.
that there is a difference in black and white after George Floyd. The world is beginning to recognize and see it. And it's his grandchildren, as he said, that keeps pointing out things out to him.
Yes,
To
Daddy,
him. Yes,
yeah,
yes.
granddaddy,
You
that's not
preach.
right. You know,
Mhm.
so we've got to have a whole new regeneration of the minds,
Yes.
starting with the older generation, because
Yes.
they're the ones that's pushing that stuff to the new generation, to the younger generation. They're fostering that hatred and that distinction that you're better than just because you're white. That's where that's coming from. If we
Yeah.
leave these young people alone and we don't push that image, they will get along,
That's
That's
right.
right.
because
That's right.
the schools are integrated, and children are going to school of all different races, creeds, and colors.
Yeah.
If when they go back home, they don't hear their mamas and daddies talking that negative talk about black
Right.
people, about
That's right.
Hispanic people, about Japanese and Asian American people, if they don't
Yes.
hear that stuff at home, they'll
Yes.
be okay. But when
Right.
they
Yes.
go home, they hear that.
Yep,
Okay?
you're right. But and from a
Kids will, if
legal
you put two,
perspective,
huh?
I was saying from a legal perspective, how do we continue to have faith in a legal system where you're seeing these people, even like Ted Cruz, flying Ted Cruz, he's an attorney, and you look at the impeachment, and seems like certain people can get away with anything, Judge. And then you look at our black kids, and a kid can have a box of Skittles and get shot, and that's all right. But another one can plan a whole insurrection, and it seems like nothing happens. I mean, what?
And you're right, and nothing will happen. And the only way you do it is when the people that are in office and elected officials, there has to be, as I said, a renewal of the mind and a regeneration of their minds. And until you can get them to do that, it's not going to happen. That's the reality. You saw the Senate said to us, they gave us a very thorough message. They sat up there, a number of them, Lindsey Graham included, McConnell included. They talked about how terrible that insurrection was. They talked about the fact that
Yes.
President Trump, you know, he was the person who was filtering that and encouraging and pushing. They actually made all grandiose speeches on January 7th and 8th condemning all the stuff that he did. But when it came down to the vote last week, they said, but we're not gonna punish him for it. We're not going to convict him. And it's nothing is going to change until the powers that be, the elected officials at every level, not one level, not in Congress, because this starts at home, at the home base.
Yeah.
Until
City
they
level, state level.
until you get people of a different mindset in those offices, it's
Yeah.
not going to change. I call the Senate the most spineless group of men and women that I've seen in
No,
years.
it's true.
They remind me of the cowboy era. Remember the cowboy era, when one cowboy, when I used to watch that stuff on TV, one cowboy could come through with the guns, maybe two of them, and they could just take over a whole town.
Whole
You
time,
got
everybody.
you got thousands of people, and they running scared of two cowboys with a gun, a whole
Yeah.
That's
town.
right.
So
Yeah.
that's the problem. Until we get out of the cowboy mentality of running scared of these
Right.
people, it's not going to happen. You see, all of those people are kowtowing. That's what I call it, kowtowing
Yeah,
to
Cap
Trump.
Town.
That's exactly.
They scared.
They scared.
They're spineless. But it's not even scared and spineless. They agree with him. Simple
No,
as
they
that.
do, and
They're,
they
they're
always
pretending
have.
on one. They're pretending on one side when they stand up there in the Senate and make all those grand. McConnell's still making speeches. Yeah, he's wrong, and he needs to be held accountable criminally. Well, hell, you had a chance to hold him accountable, and you didn't. So why do you think the criminal court should hold him accountable? You had an opportunity, and you didn't. So now you want to push it off to the criminal court.
They're passing
And
the
no,
buck.
you didn't do it, and you had all the power. It's not going to happen until they agree. Let me just calm down.
That's all right.
They're in agreement with Trump.
They're
It's
right.
just that they have been part of the status quo, and they've been part of the system for so long, and pretending otherwise, that they have to talk the language saying otherwise. But they like the fact that Trump has not been a part of the old boys Republican club, and he came in there as an outsider and said all the things they wanted to say and did all the things that they wanted to do. They didn't like immigration. They don't like immigration. They don't like that Hispanic people coming over here going to college, except the ones that they bring to work in their house.
Right.
That's another story. Except, you know, it's like the slavery part. We can bring them over to work my home and to clean my yard and to take care of my babies and to clean my house. But other than that, we want them to stay in their place. We don't really want them to have full freedom. We don't want them to have full justice. We don't want them to have full economic power. And all of those people, most of them believe the same as Trump, because it's money.
That's right.
We're a country that's run by capitalism and greed. And they agree with him, but they can't afford to say it because for the last 30 years, they've played this game with their constituents. We want justice and equality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
don't want it. I got to get some coffee.
Drink some coffee, Judge. I want to talk about one of your passions. We talked a little while ago about something that I wasn't thinking about at all. And that is your passion for people with COVID, and what we should be doing as a family. You've been in family law, and I want you to bring up those points again. We talked all night about what you were talking about, and you need to do a book on it, Judge. You really do.
Well, yes, I'm going to do that, Vicki. Trust me, I'm going to get it done. But here's the thing. When COVID hit, it hit me personally because I am the conservator of one of my nephews who's in a nursing home. So immediately the COVID was hitting the nursing homes faster than anywhere else. Right. And they were more gullible, more susceptible to the disease. So when they started shutting down the nursing homes and said you can't go in and you can't visit your relatives, I was like, wait a minute. Now, we already don't get the quality of care that we're supposed to get anyway. And as Black people, we're in the background for that. Now, if I can't go in there to see him and to know what's going on, they really cannot treat him during this time. So I immediately was concerned and said, we got to find a way that I can see my relative. I'm not just going to let you close the door and I can't see him.
Right.
So I called over to the nursing home. I said, what are you all putting in place for us to be able to see? And see, my relative can't communicate. He had a stroke and he has brain damage and he can't talk. Wow. And he barely walks. And so he has absolutely no understanding. So he can't say to them, I need this, I need that. I was like, wait a minute. What are you going to put in place for people so that we can know that our loved ones are safe and we can see them and not rely on you telling me? Well, you can call on WebEx. Well, he can't talk. Mm-hmm. And, he says he can use his cell phone and he can't talk. He can't use his cell phone because his brain doesn't work like that. So I said, I tell you what, I will send over some iPads over there, or we'll send an iPad for you all to use for families to be able to talk, see, and communicate with their family members if they don't have cell phones. Because some of them their mind is such that they can use their phones and things. So they decided to set up WebEx, which is a camera.
Yeah.
You go online on the website and you can see your family. So I can call in and they would take the phone to him. And what I did was like, okay, turn him over. I want to see his backside. I want to see his front side. I want to see his face. I want to go from head to toe. I want to see his feet. I want to see his hands. I want to see everything. I want to make sure there is nothing wrong with him physically. I don't want you to tell me he's fallen, he's hit his head, and I don't know it. No. I want to see. So I did that on a regular basis. So then they finally decided to have visitation at the front door. So they would bring your relative to the front door and you could stand outside the front, the glass door, you could see them there. That's fine. So, but a lot of people across the nation didn't get that opportunity. They didn't get to see their relatives.
Right.
They didn't get any phone calls. They didn't know anything. And then the other thing is I have power of attorney. They decided they needed to take him to the doctor. I says, you can't take him to the hospital without contacting me. You can't do that. So I'm encouraging people while we are well and in our right minds, this is something that we don't think about and we don't want to talk about. But death is certain. Just as sure as you're alive, you're going to die. Death is certain. The only thing that's uncertain is when. That's the only uncertainty is when. So knowing that and recognizing that, get ready for what happens in between there and what happens after. So I think every adult person should have a healthcare power of attorney. You should nominate someone in your family. The reason I say every adult person is because children, the parents can make those decisions about healthcare. But once you become an adult, you're the only person who can make decisions about your health care unless you have appointed someone else and given someone else that authority. The way COVID hit and it hit with all of this, it hit the brain, it hit the mind, it hit your hands. You didn't have the ability to do anything. People were going on respirators. So you can't talk, you can't make those informed, intelligent decisions about your health care. You need to now, while you're in your right mind, while your health is good,
right now,
fill out a healthcare power of attorney and appoint someone in your family, not just a family member, someone that you trust. It could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a pastor. It has to be someone you trust to make the decisions about your health care. And it is not somebody that you like. And it can't be somebody that won't fight. It can't be somebody that's easygoing and scared to ask the questions and scared to question the doctors and scared to demand the care that you need. So it has to be someone who is, if they're not knowledgeable in medicine, like I wasn't, but I became knowledgeable when my mother had Alzheimer's, I've learned that system. And it has to be somebody who knows it or who's not afraid to ask the hard questions. And because so often doctors will come to us and say, well, your mother is not doing well on the respirator and she's 95 years old, so you might as well let her go. Really? Really?
Yeah.
That's my decision to make.
That's right.
But that's not your decision to make if you don't have the healthcare power of attorney. So, and it's an easy form to get. Most doctors have those forms in their offices. Your medical provider has those forms. You can get that form online. Like I tell my aunt, my daughter and my children, you use that computer for everything else. You use Google for everything else. Google a healthcare power of attorney form, pull it down, fill it out, and sign it, okay?
Amen.
The other form is the healthcare power of attorney, strictly related to your health, to medical care. You make those decisions concerning medical care when the person is unable to. It only comes into effect when that person is mentally unable to make the decisions concerning their health care. Now, The other form is called a power of attorney, a durable power of attorney that comes into play when you're unable to take care of your personal affairs, your banking accounts, paying your bills, paying your mortgage, completing your tax returns, just doing all the things that you have to do from day to day to take care of your life. When you get to that point that you're unable to do that, it may be that you had back surgery. So now that you've had back surgery, you can't get up out of the bed and go to the bank. You can't write the checks because you can't sit up. Maybe you had an injury to your finger and you can't sign the checks. You're in a cast. You can't sign the checks. You can't do what you normally do. So you need a person with a power of attorney who has the ability to do that. But now be very careful with this person. You got to really, 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 really trust this person.
Right.
And you have to know that the person is trustworthy. As my pastor used to say, don't put a hungry person as your power of attorney.
Yes.
Don't put a broke person as your power of attorney.
Amen.
Don't put a person who doesn't know how to pay their own bills as your power of attorney, because they're not going to pay yours if they don't take care of their own bills. So don't put a person that spends their money and just go to the bank and spend, because they're going to have access to your money. So you want to put someone in that position who is trustworthy, who is reliable, who is knowledgeable, and who knows how to handle business. Now, that may or may not be a family member, but it has to be someone who is trustworthy, and you have to know that that person, I don't care if it is your oldest child. Your oldest child may spend all your money, as it happens frequently. Yeah. I have a friend who had given her child the the power of attorney, and had her on her bank account, and the child went and bought a whole lot of stuff for her house. For her house. For her house. So
mercy.
That's right.
Well, yeah.
You have to be trustworthy.
And but those are things we must do to take care of ourselves. And if you don't want to do the power of attorney, that's the most protection you have, because the other way, you can just add a person to your account. Right. But once you add that person's name on your account, that person can do with your account exactly as you can.
That's right.
And it's not illegal.
They can withdraw money. They can do whatever. And the other alternative is not to add them as an account holder, but to name them on the bank account. Most people fill out those bank account forms and don't read them. There's a form on there that says payable on death beneficiary. We call it POD, payable on death beneficiary. That person, you don't have to go to court at your death. That person gets the money that's left in your account at your death. The problem is, if they're just a payable on death beneficiary, but not the power of attorney, they can't get it until you can show a death certificate.
Right, that's right.
So if you need the money in that account, so you need one on an account that can get the money quickly, and that's a joint account holder.
Right.
Because the power of attorney expires at death. That's the other thing. Power of attorney expires at death. Then you have to have a trust. The power of attorney is got, you die. Soon as you die, it dies. So that's no longer effective. But it's no longer effective. But the payable on death beneficiary on your bank accounts and on your stock accounts and on your all of that, but you need the death certificate. So if you need the money from that account right away, you're not going to be able to get it. So you either need to set aside an account that has enough money for your burial, or you need to have a pre-need plan over at the mortuary that you've already paid for your burial, or you need to have an account where someone is on that account so they can get the money that's necessary for your burial and at that time.
We need a book.
Now, and life insurance policies is the named beneficiary. So I suggest to people that you check your life insurance policy every year. You review all of those things and see who's your named beneficiary. You got people on a life insurance policy, named beneficiary been dead 10 years.
That's right.
How they gonna be your beneficiary? You know, so you need to check that and make the changes. All you have to do, or you have one that you know you trusted, but now they on drugs, you can't trust them anymore. So they were your beneficiary. Life changes. Life changes. You know.
Oh, yeah.
Now they married to somebody, and you know, and he taking all the money, or she taking all the money. You don't want that person. So you need, and all you got to do is call the insurance company, say, send me a form for change of beneficiary, and they'll send you that form. You fill it out, send it back. It's simple.
Oh, Judge, I'm gonna have to go over this. I'm gonna have to look at this about 10 times. We need your book on this. We really need it.
It's very informative in so many ways. We're
Now,
talking Mablean.
Let me ask you this, Vicki. You keep saying you need my book. You know, the joke is if you put something in writing, if you don't want black people to know something, to put it in writing. So if I put it in writing, they won't know it.
Well, you're right. Well, they'll be looking at this. I'll tell you that. Maybe you should do it an audible form.
No, I'm going to put it in writing. I'm going to put something really simple in writing.
Real simple,
you know, things you should know. Really simple. A simple book, step by step, things you should know. The difference between a trust, the difference between a will, you know, a power of attorney, healthcare power of attorney. I will do that. I'm going to make that my mission.
We have a family member right now.
Yeah,
go ahead. Well, the son, our cousin, hasn't seen his father in 5 months because he's in a senior home and he's deaf. And we're going to recommend that sending in an iPad.
Tell them to get that camera. The home itself, you can have one of the nurses or the social services. All those homes have a social service department, and they have a social worker on staff. So you can go through the social services department. They can use their own iPhone, Android, or whatever. You can call on their number, or you can call on the computer. You can go on the computer, and they can take the computer. But see, taking the computer to a room is going to be hard. They have, at my nephew's rest home, they have an iPad that we log on to the WebEx camera, and they take that iPad into his room and follow us. So they can make that recommendation. But right now, immediately, they could talk to somebody using their iPhone or Android, and one of the staff members of social services department iPhone or Android, so they can see the person. I would demand to see them.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that because it's
I made that recommendation in terms of phone or an iPad or iPhone, and but I didn't know about the social service person on staff to let.
There has to be in a nursing home. There's somebody there that's called social services to deal with the community and to deal with the family, because it's part of the. They may call it planning. It's usually discharge planning. But if they're in there, they're not going to be discharged. But there is a person dealing in what we call social services, medical planning, and healthcare planning. Every rest home has that person designated. Okay. Whatever call they make, whatever name they give it.
Yeah, we need that because we've worked out some things and we've talked to attorneys, but we still need to do some more. But now we almost come into the end, and I could talk to you for another hour. I have so many more things to talk to you about. But you're gonna have to come back.
You know, the beauty of this Instagram is that you can have these conversations and really be very helpful to people without going through a lot. And I tell them, take advantage of these things, not just for fun and not just for showing off your body and not just for TikTok and not just for acting a fool and showing what you eat. You know, we can learn something from it. So
that's right.
Yeah, and you've got so many things. I want, like you were on the fit show where you lost a lot of weight. Celebrity Fit, and still look fabulous.
The first set, no, I don't, girl. I've gained all that back.
You don't look like it because we saw you in, was it December? We went and ate. Good to me.
Yeah.
I'm still trying, but I've got a little too much weight on. My hip says I got too much weight, and my knees say I have too much weight.
What, are you walking and doing some exercise or something right now?
I do the stationary bike. I had hip surgery, so I can't do the walking a lot. I can't do walking, but I do the stationary bike every day.
Okay, well,
I am doing that.
Last time
faithfully,
I saw
almost
you,
daily.
okay.
Hmm?
I said the last time I saw you, we were having lunch somewhere in LA, and you look good
Girl,
to me.
we were at the Waldorf Astoria. You know where we were.
No, I told Claude it was the Ritz.
No, it was a Waldorf Astoria at the top of the roof for Sean's wife's birthday celebration.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, Vita.
I had the
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was the Ritz. That's what I told him.
Reason
But you were looking
Mm-mm.
good. So
Yeah, you too.
well, thank you. You know,
And let me ask your husband, is she letting you finish your sentences and tell your stories?
No.
you just sat and told it.
Tell it to her.
I thought that was so cute. He says, I'm trying to tell this story, and you just take over. He said, let me tell it.
You just told the truth. You just told the truth. I gotta do better in that regard. Oh yeah, when you were eating too.
That's because we talk so much. Look, I have the same issue, but my friend's a little stronger, and he'll look at me like, okay, can I talk?
Well, and, you know, you and me, we look like we're from the same tribe. So,
Yeah.
So it's a challenge. God bless them. Well, you've got a book that we need to be aware of, right?
Yes.
What's the name of the book?
Look Deep Before You Leap. That's the latest book. It's talking about family, and it's talking about relationships. And it's mainly, love interest. I used to say man, woman, but it's not that. It's love interest relationships,
Right.
whatever your preference is on that. And not only that, it also affects your regular relationships with your children, with friends, and all that. You need to, because when we choose to be in relationship with anyone that we're going to spend a lot of time with, we're going to put energy into that person, we're going to put resources into that person, you really need to look deep, because everybody is not worthy of your time and your relationship. So you need to look deep. Relationship is work. And if you're in a friendship type relationship and you're always the giver, you have those friends that you're always the giver, and every time you go out somewhere, you're buying the tickets, you're picking up the tab, and they never do it. Okay, that's what I'm talking about when I say look deep before you leap. You don't need that.
That's right.
You don't need that. That's a leech. That's not a friend. And we need to make those kinds of distinctions. So yes, that's my book. It's available on my website, judgemablean.com. Also, I'm in the midst of putting it as an audio book. I meet with my audio person on Monday. We have a couple of little things we have to tweak, and then it'll be an audio book probably in the next 30 days. For those of you who like audio books, even though you like audio books.
Oh, that's all we do, audio books.
Really?
Yeah, I love audio. I put it on and we drive, whatever. We can put it on and we can listen to it together. So it's not me reading or she reading it.
Yeah, we do it together. We can do it together.
Really?
I love audio.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that with me, because Sean, who's my publicist, and it was his idea. He had to push me. I said, people don't buy audio books.
Yes, we do.
But guess what I based it on? I based it on me.
You based it on what?
Me.
Oh, all right.
As a kid, I've never liked to hear people reading to me.
No, it's so good, and there are some readers who are incredible.
And the other thing is, the beauty of it is, because sitting down reading, you have to be still, because you can't write and read.
Anything else. And
there are all kinds of issues. You got to be still. But so I'm doing it. It's on audiobook now. I bought Stacey Abrams' book on audiobook.
Okay. Yeah.
And I intend to listen to that, because I got to find something to listen to when I'm trying to clean this closet out. What the man is up there painting. Girl.
No, please don't even talk about that. But I got President Barack Obama's book, The Promised Land.
I bought the big book and I bought it on audio as well, but I haven't listened to it on. Hey, I could listen to that while I'm working too. Yeah.
Yes, because I want to hear him say there are a lot of good books. We're with Audible, but there's so many good Audible books. And so I'd recommend that.
Well, you got one more coming. Look deep before you leap.
We're going to do that.
Looking for that one.
Yeah.
And we'll do a review on it. I'm sure it'll be good.
Oh yes, as soon as it comes down, I'll let you know. The music is great. And so the musical piece is done by Leon Lacey. He's a great producer and writer and musical person. But we had a piece of music on there that we couldn't get a clearance for. So, you know, being the genius that he is, he just wrote something new.
Wow, that's the way to do it.
How about that? He just wrote something new and original just for me. Just who's that joined you in the back seat?
My daughter, she's not feeling well, so.
Oh. Oh my, she's looking like she's all messed up. Poor baby. Oh, and you made her get in the car?
Well,
They don't know what they're doing without me.
she said,
Oh, okay.
we can't turn on the machine without her.
Oh, they need you. Okay.
We
Well, you know, I didn't know how this was going to go today because I usually have a younger person here assisting me as well. Or either Sean is at home telling me what to do, and my assistant, and nobody is here today. I was like, Sean, what am I going to do? He said, oh, you'll figure it out.
Well, we've enjoyed you so much.
Oh, very much
We've
so. Thank
got
you.
to talk again, Judge. There's so many things we missed. We'll have to get them next time. But we want everybody to be sure to watch your show. That's been
Justice with Judge Mablean. Look it up. I can't tell you what channel. It varies from city to city.
And to get the book. And are you doing any more acting anytime soon? Or?
Well, the show is still on, and I hope somebody will pick me up for something, but I haven't been invited to do any acting lately. Or I've been doing a lot of Instagrams, but I haven't. It would be nice, but things are slow, I guess.
Well, we'll put it out there, especially when all of this gets over with this COVID and everything. We'll get on that. But we love
that is so cute. The baby had to get up out the bed because
we wouldn't have been able to see you today.
Now let me see. How old are you? So let me see if they're violating any child labor laws.
No, trust me, we're not.
Oh, she went attorney on us.
She went attorney on us.
Oh my goodness.
You know, my baby's an attorney. She's not here, but Nadia, my youngest, is an attorney too. So
is how old?
Our youngest, who's 30-something, she's an attorney, but she's not here.
Oh, really?
Yes, ma'am.
She's an attorney where?
Well,
California?
she's in California.
And New York.
She's just had a baby now, so she's off. But she does.
Is it Northern or Southern California?
She's in Southern California, but she also.
Is she a member of the Black Women Lawyers Association of Los Angeles, of which I was the president in 1982?
I'm gonna have to ask her that because I don't.
She better join.
Yeah, I think
If she hasn't joined, she needs to join.
Okay, I'll tell her. Oh, my other daughter.
Rosetta was the president last year.
A woman named Lavetta was the president.
Rosetta. Which we know.
Yeah. Rosetta Upshaw.
That's right. That's right.
So your daughter is a member. Okay.
Yes,
all right.
Yes, so doing all right. But
because those young millennials, I mean, they are doing it in Black Women Lawyers. They are really. I am so excited about them and so glad to have them there. They're doing some great things. They really are. Yeah.
Well, because they've had women like you to look at.
That's right.
Feel like they can do anything now.
They can.
So,
you know what the hardest part is getting? The hardest part is getting my colleagues and older to accept that they do things differently. They keep saying, well, we used to do it like this. I said, okay, now that's what we used to do. I said, but we're no longer in that era. And things now, if we didn't have those young people there, Black women lawyers, doing this pandemic era, we'd be in trouble because the organization would we don't know how to use these computers and to do this, and they're just moving right along.
We have to have somebody almost in a hazmat
That's right.
But thank you so much. We love you so much.
Thank you. I love you
See you
too.
for lunch again. And
Yes. Now that we've opened up again.
yes. And so you guys go out and support all of the things Judge is doing, and we will see you again. You can also look at this on YouTube. I know we're going to have to look at this one many times just to hear.
Oh, this is on YouTube?
Yes, we're going to put it
great.
on. We're going to put it on.
Great. Put it on there and let me know, and then I'll tag my page.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
And we will see you later. God bless you.
And now, can I save this even though it's yours? Can I save this to my story even though it's yours?
Yes. Yes, and she'll.
Okay. Look. Okay, millennial. Tell me what to do.
All right.
No, I'm asking your daughter. Tell me what to do. How do I save it?
I'll send it. We'll send it to you.
She's gonna send it to you.
She's gonna send it to you so you can have it on your site.
Great. And you know my page is at Judge Mablean.
Right.
At Judge Mablean.
So
right.
she's gonna send it to you.
All
Okay.
right.
Hello. What's
Thank
up?
you so much for watching Carfiddable
Yes,
Talks.
thank you.
Please remember to press that like button, and we need you to subscribe. And also,
Leave some comments. Really need to hear from you.
thank you.